Welcome back. In Trinidad and Tobago, 11 people are now homeless after 2 houses collapsed in the village of Rancho over the weekend. Several regions in Trinidad were ravaged by heavy rains last Sunday.
I told myself over the children, and we just started to feel a shake. And with the rumbling and the shake, the house just started to go down slowly. And we end up in a corner with just the bed and the gallery roof over us.
Nearby at Lawrence South Trees Rancho Quemado, this resident recalls how she too lost her home.
I just grabbed my mom's hand and was like crawling on my belly because first everything was on top of us. We could not even.
Hot 7 TV is partnering with Event St. Lucia in presenting a 7-part series featuring Ms. Tyler Theophan, St. Lucia's representative to the Miss World contest to be held later this year. The series will feature Ms. Theophan and her preparation for the prestigious contest, as well as her rapport with her respective sponsors. Here's a preview of tonight's first episode, which will be aired tonight at 8:40 p.m. following the hot seat.
Hello everyone, my name is Tyler Theophan, your Miss St. Lucia World 2021, and welcome to Head to Head with the Partners. My very special guest today is the Chief Executive Officer of Events Company of St. Lucia, Mistress Lorraine Sidoni. Congratulations to Events St. Lucia on its acquisition of the Miss World franchise for 2021. And thank you for affording me the privilege of representing St. Lucia at the Miss World contest in San Juan, Puerto Rico on December 16th. Welcome, Mrs. Sidoni, and thank you for joining us here today. Tell us a little bit about Events Company St. Lucia.
Thank you, Tyler, and my privilege to be here with you today. Events Company of St. Lucia is a relatively young company. We were incorporated in 2017, early 2017, with a mandate to produce national events and festivals. And some of the festivals and events you may be familiar with: St. Lucia Jazz, St. Lucia Carnival, Creole Heritage Month, Atlantic Rally for Cruisers, commonly known as ARC. And some you may not know. We have done the celebration concert that happened in Vieux Fort, December 2019. We're very involved with independence activities. So we are involved in a number of events and festivals.
Nice. Being the lead producer of events in St. Lucia, what kind of impact does ECSL have on the events industry?
I'd like to think a meaningful impact, and I'd like to answer that question with a bit of scenario building. Let's take, for instance, one event. Let's look at Calypso Finals. For that one event, we would have to engage janitors, masons, service providers to get the event venue ready, providers of furniture, fixture and equipment, decor, personnel. It's a lot of persons that would have to come together to put that event on. So really, our impact is to make sure that through events, we are creating a trickle-down economic effect throughout St. Lucia. And we want to do that many times over so that as many persons and as many service providers as possible benefit from events held in St. Lucia.
The debate over the controversial drug ivermectin is raging throughout the Caribbean. Earlier this week, scores of pharmacists in the twin island of Trinidad and Tobago took a unified stance against its use.
In recent COVID-19 discussions, you would have heard about this drug. If not, well, primarily it's a livestock anti-parasitic drug, meaning it's used as a dewormer and for parasites in animals like horses and cattle. But lately, people have been swearing by its use as a prophylactic or a drug that protects you against COVID-19, saying the drug inhibits the virus from binding using its spike protein, and if it cannot bind, then it cannot multiply. But it doesn't, at least as yet, have FDA or even WHO approval. So why are people using it? Just last week, our chief medical officer said,
"We made note of ivermectin as one of the drugs not to use for COVID-19.
And it's not just professionals here who are advising against its use.
What would you tell someone who is considering taking that drug.
Don't do it.
You see, a big problem is not enough clinical trials were done on actual human bodies. Therefore, its popularity is bewildering one virologist.
One thing I don't understand about people is that they say that how they don't have enough trials and they didn't have enough data with the vaccines when we had a lot. And now they're willing to take a risk on something where there's none or very little.
And from what's being said, it's quite a risk because while ivermectin can be used for humans and animals, people often use the veterinary grade. And if you take too much of it, it can lead to
liver failure, organ failure, all of those things can occur. And I mean, it has been occurring. We're seeing that around the world where people are using it and using it.
Dr. Ramachan said ivermectin has only been tested in a few hundred people, and it will take a lot more than this anecdotal data to get approval. But right now, there's none really to be found at your local pharmacy. And that's due to two reasons. One being that most pharmacists have come together with a position to stop selling it to members of the public. And another one, according to the president of the pharmacy board, Andrew Rahman, is that it's illegal to import that drug for human use. So anyone who's getting their hands on it right now are doing so through illegal means or a parallel supply chain. Akash Samaru, CNC3 News.
A group of St. Lucians living in Martinique recently made a generous monetary donation to the Holy Family Children's Home in St. Lucia. The donation was facilitated through the Minister of External Affairs.
How do we give back?
The Ministry of External Affairs, International Trade, Civil Aviation and Diaspora Affairs facilitated a monetary donation to the Holy Family Children's Home from St. Lucian-born Marjorie Dussel Zephyrin, now resident in Martinique. Martha Pierre, who made the presentation on behalf of Marjorie Dussel, said her cousin was born in the town of Soufrière to Enos and Julia Calix and has been considering for quite some time now how she could contribute to the country of her birth.
She sought the assistance of the consul in Martinique, Ms. Joanna Sultan, to determine the most effective way and meaningful way as well that she could contribute to the welfare of children in St. Lucia. It is on her behalf that I, as the oldest relative residing here, makes this presentation of EC $30,000 to Sister Antonia David.
Administrator of the Holy Family Children's Home, Sister Antonia David, expressed her gratitude for this timely donation, which will greatly assist the home in molding productive citizens of St. Lucia.
It's difficult for persons everywhere, and to come to the point of choosing to give back to St. Lucia and to give to children. And I often tell people these are the persons who will be taking care of us tomorrow. So they will be the ones sitting here in the not so far future as the ministers and the doctors and nurses and, doing exactly what Madame Dussel is doing. So we are very grateful for this opportunity. Thank you, Madame Dussel, and your friends and family.
Ambassador for Diaspora Affairs, Joycelyn Fletcher, recognized the importance of the diaspora to national development and said that this was the third individual in the diaspora who has made such large contributions in 2021.
You have just again proven my point about the diaspora, how important they are and what they do. And it has been the mantra of this office since it was set up 2 years ago to ensure that St. Lucia knows what our diaspora are doing and that our diaspora are very, very important people and that they're important to the social and economic development of St. Lucia.
Madame Dussel was visibly pleased that her contribution had gone to service the needs of the children of the Holy Family Children's Home. Via Zoom connection, she applauded the managers of the home for the wonderful work they have been doing.
When you said about youngsters, I thought they were teenagers. But when I saw the pictures and I saw the young children and so on, I was very impressed. And I think I have been loving them from then. So I'm very glad of that idea. She chose that group. So I thank everyone who was in charge because We could not be there personally to do all what we had to do, but then everything has been done, and I thank all my family.
The check presentation was held in the conference room of the Ministry of External Affairs, in the presence of the Minister for External Affairs, Honorable Alva Baptiste, other senior members of staff, and family members of Marjorie Dussel Zephyrin. For the National Competitiveness and Productivity Council, Glenn Simon reporting.
You're watching the Hot 7 Nightly News. Stay tuned. There is more news after the break.